Hi everybody, Norman Van Aken here with the Treasure Book series. I got an email the other day from Tara Solomon, the famous public relations person that for many years has been one of the grand faces and energies of public relations in Florida, especially Miami Beach. And she, in the text of the email, asked me if I had a copy of the book Miami by Caroline Stuart. And I said, I think so. I think I've got that book. And she said, well, I've got an extra one and I want to be sure you have it. So she sent me a copy of it. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, wow, that took me back. This book came out in around 92. And part one, Food in Miami, Caroline Stuart. The reason I'm bringing this book up right now is the mystery of how the universe works. So I got this email from Tara, and I was happy to take a photo of the book and send it to my old friend Caroline Stuart. A little picture of her here. Then the next day, I got my phone rang, and I didn't recognize the number, 203 area code, and so I didn't take the call. And then a moment later, the phone rang again with a 203 area code, but this time it said Caroline Stuart. And I picked up the phone and said, hi. And a man's voice came on, and he said, this sounds like Norman. I was a little bit guarded, I guess, but I said, it is. And he says, hey, Norman, I'm sorry. This is Andrew, Caroline's son. My mother passed away last month. I just sank back down to a chair and we talked for a while about the amazing Caroline Stuart and how nobody had heard about her passing. She was intensely private, and yet she was there, such a foundational person in the entire beginning of what became the James Beard Foundation, because she was the direct assistant to James Beard in his home, helping with the cooking classes and a million other details. It will be a shame if there's not a documentary done on Caroline Stuart and her contributions to the world of American cuisine. If it hadn't been for the fact that Tara sent me that book, I might not have known about her passing, and that would be a shame because what if years passed by before I'd learned that? We don't want to forget these heroes that have had so much to do with the American food movement. The book that I used a great deal was the book she co-wrote with Jeanne Voltz, and the Florida Cookbook, From Gulf Coast Gumbo to Key Lime Pie. We have to remember that books about Florida cooking, there were kind of little regional books, spiral bound books, really some fun things to find out. But someone who got into the history and the differences between the Big Bend area all the way down to the Florida Keys, this is the way this book was laid out. And for a person like myself who decided that I was going to be all about celebrating Florida, this book was required reading, required study, and Caroline and Jeanne Voltz really get into it, really break down the entire geography of Florida cooking and how the manifestations of the dishes change from region to region within the state. And they also have these great pages on, here's datil peppers, which are a regional chili pepper that we have here. And here is a part on Tupelo Honey, which is not just a song by Van Morrison. And here's a bookmark, which appropriately is of another restaurant that heralds the great American regional cooking. Husk, and this probably was the one in, it's upside down. I can't read it in this light. Charleston. There we go. Sean Brock. When we talk about the treasure books, so often for me, it's about the person that wrote those books, the memories that the books gave me, not simply a collection of recipes, but the transitions and transformations that I was having as a not professionally trained, really, or never went to cooking school, culinary person, trying to grow, trying to evolve, trying to find my particular voice. And a book like Caroline Stuart and Jeanne Voltz was a magnificent find. And even though the book is 20-something years of age, so that doesn't mean anything. That means that these time-honored recipes that are here, and you don't have to live in Florida. You can live anywhere and recreate these great dishes. And because I don't know about Jeanne, but I know for sure Caroline, she was such an extraordinary cooking class teacher that these are recipes that home cooks can replicate. When I did the project 1921 by Norman Van Aken in Mount Dora 5 years ago, and that was a 3-year project, I wanted to distinguish the cooking I'd been doing in Miami because geographically I was in a more northern place by being in Central Florida. And so this is not a recipe, this is not the menu for the food, this is the menu from the wines by the glass, drinks, just like always. I always stick menus in the books. And this book gave me the opportunity to give my menus a different character than what I was doing in Key West, and different than what I had been doing in Miami. It allowed me to stretch out and show more of a repertoire. And so somehow or another, myself and others who knew and loved Caroline Stuart are going to do something spectacular to give voice to her time on earth with us, and with the help, of course, with her family. I hope that we can do that in a really big and in a way that she'll feel the love that she deserves, because boy, she deserves a ton. All right, I'm gonna bid you adieu, and I'll be back in a few days or a week with another treasure book from the series. Thanks, everybody. Have a great one.